NATO nations' dream of becoming Europe's strongest military begins to crack. A critical spare parts shortage is threatening to cripple German army capabilities. Germany's armed forces stand exposed just as fears of a NATO-Russia clash intensify. A spare parts crisis has jolted Germany's war machine as questions grow over the cost of backing Ukraine. Not just Ukraine, Germany is now signaling a bigger strategic push through the Balkans.
We are now beginning a process that will gradually enable the Western Balkan states to join the European Union. I very much welcome the fact that President Zelensky has once again made the offer for talks. We will meet on Sunday in London in what is known as the E3 format. So, President Macron, Prime Minister Starmer, and I with President Zelensky to discuss the next steps.
The German armed forces could soon see their operational capabilities severely weakened. Reports say the problem stems from a growing repair backlog caused by critical spare parts shortage. RT News reported the backlog, citing German media that accessed internal documents. According to RT News, German media reviewed documents from a key military maintenance provider. German media reports say the situation is especially grim for heavy equipment. Data from HIL, the state-owned company handling much of the military's repairs, pointed to the scale of the problem. RT News citing SZ, WDR, and NDR reported, and I quote, "Only about half of Germany's PZH-2000 self-propelled howitzers, Marder infantry fighting vehicles, and Boxer armored personnel carriers were operational as of May. The remaining equipment was reportedly stuck in lengthy maintenance and repair cycles. HIL is expected to ensure that at least 70% of the Bundeswehr's heavy equipment is combat-ready and operational. This rate could drop to 30% for certain equipment types after military exercises. The lack of long-term supply contracts makes obtaining enough spare parts nearly impossible. The situation is so serious that some essential weapon systems could face permanent limitations to their operational readiness. Defense Ministry constantly prioritizes short-term repair demands that are primarily aimed at quick, externally observable effects." Unquote. The crisis was reported even as Germany pursues its goal of becoming Europe's strongest military. Berlin is pushing a major military build-up, citing the Russian threat. Germany remains one of Ukraine's biggest military backers in the war against Russia. Meanwhile, Merz said the European Union will begin a gradual process for Western Balkan entry.
You all saw that President Macron and I made a proposal regarding the next steps. And I must say, I am extremely grateful that this was not only a joint proposal from President Macron and me, but also met with broad approval in the European Council and among the Western Balkan states. That we are now beginning a process that will gradually enable the Western Balkan states to join the European Union. The clear message of today is, and will remain, we want you. First of all, I very much welcome the fact that President Zelensky has once again made the offer for talks. I want to emphasize, once again, this is not the first time he has offered to hold direct talks with the Russian president. As you now know, we will meet on Sunday in London in what is known as the E3 format. So, President Macron, Prime Minister Starmer, and I with President Zelensky to discuss the next steps. We are ready to talk. And from my perspective, it goes without saying that the Europeans should be at the table in such a dialogue format. And there will be no lack of willingness to talk on the European side. What is lacking is a Russian president's willingness to enter into talks. The offer from our side is there, and I therefore very much welcome the fact that President Zelensky has emphasized it once again in this letter. As I said, our readiness for talks has now been documented once again. I read a lot of what comes out of America. I also read some conflicting news reports about the issue of the United States stationing troops in Europe. We will have the opportunity to discuss this informally at the G7 meeting in Evian-les-Bains in 2 weeks, and very formally at the NATO summit in Ankara, with the American government and the American president. My messages and remains. We are in a NATO security community. We guarantee each other security, and this should apply to Europe just as much as it does to America. And we hope that we can persuade the Americans to maintain their commitment on the European continent. In our firm opinion, it is also in America's interest to do so. But once again, we will discuss this. We're having this analyzed in detail again at the German Foreign Office. I just want to say, first of all, on behalf of the German government, the German Foreign Minister Johann Waterfall and I personally, that we did everything we could to make this application successful. I would especially like to express my sincere gratitude to Johann Waterfall for his tremendous commitment over 1 year. He hardly missed a single cabinet meeting to ask all cabinet members to support this application. So, we only had 1 year to make our application acceptable to a majority in a difficult environment. Unfortunately, we were not able to do so in such a short time. Therefore, once again, we'll do better next time.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.